back and finding that great game as he did in Cincinnati. Well, the Dodgers acquired Julio Lugo basically for backup for Kyle, Kent, and Garciaparra on the infield. But he's going to start in right field today. I talked to him before the ball game, and he said it's easier to go from the infield to the outfield than it is outfield to catching ground balls. So he's got the right attitude about going out there. And you see he's trying to find the right makeup with those glasses.
I would think early in this game it's going to be tough for him out there.
Well, I saw a game yesterday, I guess, and was it at second base? Durham, I don't know, he had glasses on top of his hat. He didn't use them.
He was not wearing the glasses and lost the ball in the sun.
Yeah.
And as the shadows advance upon home plate and toward the pitcher's mound, it's going to be increasingly more difficult for the hitters to get a good look at the pitch coming in. Greg Maddux throws a called strike, and we are underway.
And that's about what you'll see from Greg Maddux now. 85, 86 miles per hour. He used to be 88 to 90. Now he's lost a little of that, so he's trying to make up for it with more movement.
And that's a base hit to right field.
And that's exactly what I said a second ago. He gets more of the plate now. First pitch was right on the inside corner. And that pitch was right over the middle of the plate. Greg Maddux used to pitch 6 or 7 innings without getting the ball in the middle of the plate. But, you know, every once in a while he misses now, and I think that's how he pays the price.
So Wynn at first, and here is Omar Vizquel. Vizquel, the hottest hitter around, 25 hits in his last 45 at bats. And he takes a called strike. That's over an 11-game stretch. In his last 11 games, 25 base hits for Omar Vizquel, and he looks over at third base coach Gene Glynn. So Omar, who seems to be the older he gets, the better he gets. And Wynn back to the bag at first. Wynn has lots of speed, but only has 7 stolen bases for the Giants. That's Nomar Garciaparra holding on the bag against him. He's wearing the sunglasses. 1 strike to count to Omar Vizquel. Greg Maddux, who works off the third base side of the slab. And into center field, Lofton will come in. 1 away.
We talked about Maddux getting more of the plate. First pitch was perfect to win the lead off the game. See the target inside, and watch where this pitch is. Right in the middle of the plate. You see the catcher reach for it. He did the same thing there with Vizquel. Pitch was not located properly, and that's one of the things, as I said, Maddux used to go 6 innings without making a pitch in the middle of the plate. Now he does it more often, and that's part of the reason that he is 10 and 11 instead of, 11 and 5 or something.
So here is Ray Durham, and back to the bag at first is Randy Wynn. Now Greg Maddux started the year, you mentioned his record of 10 and 11, and of course he was playing most of that time for a bad ball club in Chicago. The Cubs having a very poor year, but Maddux started the year going 5-0. Ray Durham, who's been a very hot hitter, and he's got a base hit to right field. Wynn to second. He'll stop there as Lugo comes up throwing.
Good job by Lugo being an infielder. He charged that ball very quickly.
Here comes Bonds.
Well, we've seen 3 batters and 3 pitchers have been in the middle of the plate with Greg Maddux. And we'll see how he tries to attack Barry Bonds.
Well, if anybody knows how to pitch to Bonds, it would be Greg Maddux. Bonds has faced Maddux 144 times in a big league game.
I expect him to try to stay away from Barry, and if he can get a hit, throw that ball off the plate inside that runs back toward the inside corner. But I don't think he's going to try to get him out inside.
2 men on. 3 infielders play to the right of second for Bonds. And the sinker down and in. And again, you saw the catcher on the outside, and that ball went to the inside. Barry Bonds faced Greg Maddux for the first time in September of 1986. Bonds for the Pirates, Maddux for the Cubs. 723 homers for Bonds, 328 wins for Maddux. This is an historic Major League first. And caught by Maddux, and that's a double play. The inning is over.
And that's why he's won Gold Gloves. An excellent fielder.
He wins the Gold Glove year after year after year, and that one helped him a little bit right there. So Bonds with a smash through the middle. Maddux with the catch to turn it into an inning-ending double play. Now the Dodgers are coming up. The Giants nothing. The Dodgers ready to bat here in the first inning with Rafael Furcal to lead on. Let's take a look at the Dodgers batting order presented by Taco Bell. And Rafael Furcal, and he's been hot. The former Brave at shortstop, up to 289 for this average for the year. Then Kenny Lofton, the veteran center fielder, hitting 312. He's even hotter. Nomar Garciaparra back from an injury, hitting 330 for the year, first base. Jeff Kent back from an injury about almost a week ago, second base. Andre Ethier, a Rookie of the Year candidate, hitting 350 left field. Wilson Betemit, just acquired from Atlanta a couple of weeks back, hitting 287. Julio Lugo, the former Tampa Bay Devil Ray, hitting over 300 this year. Russ Martin, the Dodgers rookie catcher, another Rookie of the Year candidate. And Greg Maddux, the pitcher, batting ninth, all up against the tall right-hander, hard-throwing Jason Schmidt, who has won only 9 games, Joe. He's been one of the least well-supported starting pitchers in the majors. And he throws that one in there for a called strike. Furcal got off to a very slow start this year, but has come on big time in the second half. 0-2. Jason Schmidt 9-7, a 3.15 ERA, which is the third best earned run average in the National League. And that's a little bit low on the outside. And Joe, we're used to seeing Schmidt for many years be a guy who threw 95, 96, 97 miles an hour. He's not that guy anymore.
No, I mean, but he uses his change of speeds well, and you can see so far his location has been excellent, right toward the outside corner.
Now, when he gets revved up, I think you'll see pretty steadily 93 miles an hour from Schmidt, as we saw right there.
Well, he can still reach back and get it if he needs it, but he's just not consistently going to throw as hard as he did a couple of years ago. He's had some arm problems as well.
2-2. And a foul. You saw the 2-strike hack right there by Furcal. The Dodgers have 2 leadoff men at the top of the order.
Right. 2 very good leadoff men with speed. I think that's the key. They both can run, and they complement each other. If Furcal can get on base, it opens the hole on the right side for Lofton, plus it gets him a lot more fastballs to hit because of the speed of Furcal.
Struck him out with a low fastball. 1 away.
That ball had a lot of movement on it, John. It registered like a fastball, but it didn't look like a fastball. It's a sinking fastball, and it looks like it got the front of home plate, I mean, across the plate. And there's Jason Smith. He has very good velocity, but he's been using more off-speed pitches, you know, in ball games because he doesn't throw nearly as hard as he used to. It used to be the fastball first, and he worked right off of that. Now he mixes his pitches very well.
Here's Kenny Lofton. And that's too high with a fastball. Now Lofton is hitting 312. And even at age 39, he can still run a little bit. He's got 20 steals, only been caught 3 times. Furcal, the younger leadoff man, just retired by Schmidt, has 28 steals. They have a lot of speed at the top of the base. They have a lot of different ways they can come after you offensively. But they don't hit a whole lot of home runs.
Well, that's kind of the old Dodgers. A little speed, good RBI man, good clutch hitting, score runs by manufacturing runs. Good fastball there, especially with the shadows.
Bonds in shallow left. 2 down. The Dodgers, number 1 in the league in batting average, number 4 in the league in runs per game. First in on base, first in their batting average with runners in scoring position, and the hits, and number 2 in walks. So they get on base a lot. They just don't hit a lot of home runs. They're dead last in the league in hitting home runs.
Well, you got a lot of guys on base. It also forces the other team into mistakes, and it gives your hitters a chance to see the guy out of the stretch.
Nomar Garciaparra, and that is a sinking fastball, too low. Nomar looked like he was going to win a batting title, but he got hurt and missed some time. Just coming back a few days ago from the disabled list. Still hitting .330 for the year. And Schmidt is too low with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
And you can see a big difference in Schmidt. Now he sinks the fastball a lot more, as we're seeing. A lot of times you used to throw that riding fastball up at the top of the strike zone.
Moises Alou wearing the sunglasses. And the Dodgers go down in order. Jeff Kent stranded on deck. Moises Alou will be coming up against Greg Maddux when we return. No score. Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The Giants and the Dodgers. And the Dodgers, a lot of smiles here in LA these days. The Dodgers are hot. They've gone from worst to first. In fact, as late as August the 1st, they were still last in the division. And by August the 11th, they were first. 10 days time from worst to first. No major league team that late in the season had ever gone from last to first that quickly. Ball one to Moises Alou. Of course, it also says something about this division, I guess.
It's everything. It says everything about the division.
Look at that pitch just disappeared. Did that look like a legal pitch to you?
Well, you know, Greg Maddux has been accused of doctoring the ball because of the movement sometime. See, the ball starts in the middle of the plate and then the bottom falls out. But I will say this, he's never been caught.
There is Furcal. The hurry throw, and he got him. Furcal got one of the best arms of any shortstop.
Well, one thing you would have to watch for Greg Maddux, he got the ball down there to Moises Alou, but in the first inning, he was consistently up. Here's the pitch to win. That's a base hit. He can't live right there. Another pitch up. He just misses it. And another base hit on the ball up. Now this pitch to Bonds is up, and he makes a great catch. So if he stays up in the zone, he's going to get hit hard because he just doesn't have overpowering stuff up there.
Now Shea Hillenbrand, and that is
right
a fastball
there
for a strike, but up.
I mean, it's amazing, truthfully, that you would take a pitch like that, but I mean, he might have been looking for something else. They're going to take one view there.
And Hillenbrand did not often get accused of
being selective.
A lack of aggression at the plate.
Exactly. There's another high one, but he's on top of it.
Wilson Benamin, out number 2. Greg Maddux arriving here with the Dodgers, and some of his young teammates were very impressed with having Maddux as a teammate.
I don't mean to date the guy, but when I was growing up, you know, that's who I watched. You know, the Braves there all those years when they're doing their stuff. You know, that's who you saw every day on TV.
I was nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie. That first game, you know, I'm like, man, I'm gonna catch a future Hall of Famer. I hope he likes me.
Well, I mean, that's the presence that a guy that's going to be in the Hall of Fame brings, though. I mean, he's different. He is definitely different than the other pitchers on the staff.
Andre Ethier out in left field, and Russ Martin, the catcher. Pedro Feliz with a pop-up. Garcia Park trying to shade the eyes, and he's got it. Maddux has thrown 14 pitches in these first 2 innings. Jeff Kent and then Andre Ethier when we come back. No score. There's a Dodger fan proudly sporting some Dodger blue, and a young Dodger fan. This may be her first game. She loves baseball. And she got a pretty good seat, Joe. Jason Schmidt back to work now to his old teammate Jeff Kent, who takes a called strike. Kent pulled an oblique muscle in his right side, and it cost him about 30 days of having to shut it down. He just got back this past Monday. 1 strike to count, and that's a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Dodgers were the busiest of all the teams. Their new general manager, who also happens to be the former Giants assistant general manager, Ned Colletti, and he pulled off a few deals there right at the trading deadline and in that vicinity. Omar Vizquel, the 10-time Gold Glove winner. Kent is retired, and there is 1 away. Now a Sports Center 30 at 30 update. Here's Matt Weiner.
Number 16, Andre Ethier.
All right, and the Reds they're not that interested in the wild card race at the moment. They're interested. I mean, the Cardinals are catchable for them all of a sudden. Andre Ethier, a Rookie of the Year candidate, acquired from the Oakland Athletics in the deal that sent Milton Bradley to Oakland. And Ethier has been a revelation down here, hitting .350, 11 homers, 47 batted in. He got the best batting average of any rookie in either league. And Ned Colletti, Joe, he mixed against some of these rookies like Andre Ethier that he went out and acquired, and the catcher Russ Martin out of their farm system. There's Ned Colletti. But he was very busy getting Greg Maddux and Wilson Betemit from Atlanta.
I think in the long run, Betemit will be the great acquisition. I really think this guy's going to turn into a big star in this league for a long period of time.
The foul tip, and that's held by Alfonso. Strike 3. Ethier is gone.
Obviously, Maddux is a short-term, solution to help you try to win the division this year. But when you look at Wilson Betemit, I mean, this guy has the potential to be a superstar, and he can play all the positions on the infield. And I think he will be here for a long period of time. I was actually surprised that some team didn't overwhelm the Braves and try to get him at the deadline. I mean, I think he is a big bat that's going to, awaken and have a great career.
Braves were still thinking about postseason play. They needed bullpen help.
Right.
They got Danis Baez, the former closer from the Dodgers, and they also got a young infielder named Willie Ibar that has some talent. So the Braves had some short-term goals as well as the long-term goal with Ibar, but it could be that they'll regret that trade, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I just know that he's
come.
going to be good. I mean, I just think he's going to be one of the big stars in the league.
Well, we're talking about him. He's at the plate right now. Wilson Betemit, 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, they always pronounce his name differently, but we've asked him face to face, and he told us it's Betemit with an accent on the final syllable. He hit a home run here yesterday that was the winning hit. He got 13 home runs this year, and that is more home runs than any Dodger has hit this season.
Well, what I like about him, John, is he has good balance at the plate. I mean, he stays, he doesn't have a lot of movement in his swing. He just kind of stays there, keeps his head still, and he attacks the ball. I just think he's going to be a fine hitter in this league.
And he's already a pretty good hitter right now.
Right.
Came in tonight hitting .287. That is inside, and Schmidt muscled up a little bit. 96 miles an hour with that one. It's 3-2.
And that's the other thing I remember about Betemit. I mean, this guy, he makes you work out there on the mound. He doesn't just go out there and swing at anything. He kind of uses the strike zone very well.
Changeup from Schmidt
Beautiful.
for the strikeout.
Beautiful pitch.
6 in a row retired by Schmidt. We got the pitcher's duel going. No score on to the 3rd. Maddux back to the hill.
ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Brought to you by Baby Ruth from Nestle. Savor the official candy bar of Major League Baseball.
Greg Maddux back to work at a sinker just a little bit low. That, in fact, it looked pretty good to me, Joe. There's Tommy Lasorda.
Tommy?
Your fellow Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he couldn't go to the Hall of Fame this year. His wife, Jo, is a little bit under the weather.
Greg Maddux, with the quick reactions of a Gold Glover, throws out the Giants rookie catcher Eliezer Alfonso, 1 away. Coming up on Sunday Night Baseball, the history of this great rivalry. Joe Morgan was a part of it a few years back. Joe's swing analysis of one Barry Lamar Bonds. Here's Jason Schmidt. You might have to analyze Schmidt's swing, Joe. He hit a home run last Monday in his previous game.
Well, that swing there won't hit a home run.
I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, how did he do it?
How did he do it? That swing there, man. Well, hitting 122, so someone must have threw it exactly where he was swinging.
I think that's pretty much the way he summed it up after the game. But Schmidt, since he's been a Giant, has been hitting some home runs. He got 6 home runs lifetime. Now he's hit 5 of them since he became a Giant. A ball and a strike facing Maddux. Well, that one disappeared. 1-2. You know, Schmidt and Maddux go back a ways. Schmidt originally was an Atlanta Brave, and he and Maddux were teammates for a couple of years. but they have not faced each other in a game, in a regular season game, since 1998. Just off the outside, another close one.
You know what I find interesting? I mentioned earlier that there have been a lot of accusations about Maddox. Well, as quickly as he works, I don't see really how he'd have time to doctor the ball up or do anything.
The shortstop there is Furcal. Schmidt, a pitcher, running like a pitcher. 2 down. Duke Castiglione about the Schmidt-Maddox relationship.
Yeah, they were a little bit more than teammates. They were roommates. Schmidt actually lived a little bit with Maddox, and I asked Greg what kind of guy Schmidt was, and he said, nice, calm, quiet kid. He wanted to be good. I said, did he pick your brain a lot when you guys were roommates? He said, no, not really, with a big, big smile.
Well, you know, Schmidt himself talked about that a little bit. He said, you know, Maddox used to tell him stuff, and he said it was several years later, actually, but by the time he got to San Francisco, some of these things started coming back to him, and he started saying, wait a minute, that thing he told me 7 years ago, I get it now. So that's what he meant.
I don't think I'd have said it took me 7 years, but that's a long time for something to sink in.
Here's Randy Winn. Over in left center, Andre Ethier back out into the sunshine. And the Giants go down in order. Maddox has rolled through these first 3. 23 pitches in 3 innings. Julio Lugo, then the rookie catcher Russ Martin when we come back. That's not the real hair, just when they come to Dodger Stadium. No score after 2. And now our passion for excellence presented by Bridgestone Tires. And the most games played amongst Major League rivals, the Pirates and the Cubs have played nearly 2,300 games. The Giants and the Braves are up there. The Cubs and the Phillies, and then the Giants and the Dodgers. Tonight is game number 2,259 in the rivalry, which began in 1890. The Giants were born in 1883. The Dodgers came along. See, they're the new team. They've only been around since 1890. This is the 117th year of baseball between the Giants and the Dodgers. First in New York, and then they brought baseball. These were the 2 teams that brought baseball to the Pacific Coast. It was the first time that Major League Baseball had been played west of St. Louis. And the Giants and the Dodgers moved out here, which was kind of a shock at that time. 2 New York teams leaving for the West Coast in 1958. Julio Lugo with a pop foul. Alfonso, and that one is back out of play. Julio Lugo, the former Devil Ray, he was one of the Devil Rays' best hitters, hitting .308. He had 12 home runs for them at the time of the trade. And when they got him, Kent was still in the disabled list, so he was playing a lot of second base. Now he plays some third base. He can play shortstop if Furcal needs a breather. Tonight he's playing right field in place of J.D. Drew, who has had no success whatsoever against Jason Schmidt. Schmidt blew a high hard one right by him on the inside at 95. 1-2.
We talked earlier, John. It is not. These 2 pitchers are not really dissimilar in the way that they try to get the hitters out. They both rely on movement. They both try to move the ball inside, outside. Schmidt, of course, has a better fastball at this point. But I think they're both relying on movement, especially when they get the ball down.
Schmidt with a breaking ball popped up. There is Hillenbrand. Just enough room. Took it away from the kid. And there's one away. The Giants and the Dodgers, that rivalry. And one of our favorite Giants-Dodger moment occurred in 1982. The batter was Joe Morgan. Wow. Look at that. He hit one completely out of the ballpark. And that not only beat the Dodgers, it eliminated the Dodgers. A home run that Joe hit against Terry Forster, and there was the Ripper, Jack Clark, to meet you finally there, Joe.
Well, obviously it was a big deal for me because I grew up in the Bay Area watching the Giants-Dodger rivalry, so to be a part of it was pretty special, even if I wouldn't have gotten that base hit.
Now, we should, in fairness, point out is Russ Martin, the Dodgers' outstanding rookie catcher, comes up with 1 out and nobody on here in the 3rd. But we should point out that the Dodgers had eliminated your Giants the day before.
You had to bring that up, huh?
Martin into the alleyway, and he'll be the first base runner for the Dodgers against Schmidt. Wynn gets it back in, and Russ Martin has a double.
Oh, we talked about Schmidt and Maddox being similar in their approach. And we'll watch this. This fastball is up, and we saw Maddox getting some balls up and get hit hard. See the target down and away. You see where the pitch is, right at the top of the zone in the middle of the plate. And he stays and gets on top of it. It's not that easy to get on top of a Schmidt fastball, but he was able to do it. And he found the gap in left center. And you have to be careful with Maddox, because Maddox in these type of situations tries to put the ball in play.
So Greg Maddux, who for the season is hitting only 106, but he does have 4 runs batted in. To the right side, Durham charges it. And Maddux is out. Over to third goes Martin with 2 down.
And, you know, we talked about Maddox just putting the ball in play, puts it in play there. And it may seem like a little thing, but he moved the runner to third with 2 outs. And what that'll do is change the approach from Schmidt. You see the ball's off the plate outside. He just reaches out and pokes it, just trying to put it in play. But what that'll do is keep Schmidt from throwing a slider in the dirt or bouncing a pitch, you know, with a runner at third. So you have to keep the ball up a little bit.
And that is a good point, because although he's been getting better,
right,
Eliezer Alfonso has not been a good ball blocker.
Right.
The rookie catcher of the Giants. So here is Furcal, who can be awfully dangerous if he just puts the ball in play with his speed. And in deference to that, that's a strike call. The third baseman, Feliz, is in on the edge of the grass. Rafael Furcal struck out his first time. In the shadows, both the pitcher and the batter in the shadows. The hitter's backdrop, though, is still lit up in the brilliant sunshine. Schmidt, the hard fastball down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. No score in the game. Last of the third. Russ Martin, who hit a double over third base. And Russ Martin, another guy who got to get some strong consideration for Rookie of the Year honors, the way he's gone so far for the Dodgers. And the Dodgers, when Martin came up for the minors, they got hot. They'd been kind of struggling. And to this day, their record is outstanding when he's the starting catcher. Martin is, when he's the starting catcher, they are 46 and 29. Changeup off the outside. 3-1. Another lefty, Lofton on deck.
And not only that, John, if you put Furcal at first base, it opens up the double steal. Obviously not counting on the catcher scoring on the back end, but it opens up a chance for Furcal to steal second base and put another runner in the scoring position.
Another changeup.
Nice pitch.
3-2.
Well, obviously, Furcal is sitting on a fastball here, but it's a changeup, and you see the movement on it. That ball moved off the plate, and he barely makes contact with it. Great pitch by Schmidt.
It's been a great pitch for Schmidt, really, since the first game he ever pitched for San Francisco. A pitch that he did not use
in Pittsburgh. It was interesting. I remember Santiago was the catcher that first game.
Benito Santiago. Well, he walks Furcal, and now he's got another problem to have to deal with. Furcal has 28 steals. There's Felipe Alou, Giants manager, signaling to his infielders. So they have to decide, Joe, if the guy knows what they're going to do.
Well,
right?
what they're deciding, that's why the catcher walked out in front and he gave a sign, and now you see Vizquel and Durham getting together at second base. In my opinion, if he goes, you try to throw him out, because you have a catcher at third base. He's not going to try to score on it. And if you don't come up and just fire right away, you're not going to get Furcal anyway. So I would think that you eliminate the guy at third and just try to throw him out, because this is not your normal type double steal if he goes.
I think he needs to go. Kenny Lofton, who's been hot, though, keep that in mind. He got the low strike on that one, and Lofton didn't think so.
Well, there's the other aspect, John, is he's holding the hole open over there, leaving the hole open on the right side for Lofton, who can pull the ball through that hole over here. So, you know, you might see him wait until he gets another strike or something where he's not going to necessarily try to pull the ball.
There he goes, and he got a huge jump.
And they did the right thing.
He steals it. Good throw by Alfonso.
And he just came up and threw it. He did not try to bluff the runner back at third. You don't need to do that with a catcher at third base. Watch, he just comes up and fires. It fires to second base. It's actually not as easy as it appeared, but it was a perfect throw there by Alfonso.
So now 2 men in scoring position for Kenny Lofton. As we say, he's been a hot hitter lately. Jason Schmidt on the outside corner, strike 2, and again Lofton didn't think so. Lofton, who came into the game tonight hitting .462 in the month of August, and he's hit over .300 for the year with runners in scoring position. Remember, the Dodgers as a team have had the best team batting average in these run scoring chances of any team in the league.
So I think Lofton is a little different. He's a little better off-speed hitter than Furcal is.
1-2. Fastball.
Yeah. See,
and Schmidt staying all hard stuff.
Yeah. See, he's a much better off-speed hitter. So I think if you're Schmidt, you're going to try to fire the fastball away as he did there. He tried to get the outside corner. I mean, if you throw him 3 fastballs in a row, then you may want to throw him a changeup. But I don't think that the changeup is the way that he thought about getting Lofton out in this at bat.
Dodgers with a great opportunity with 2 down. Runner at third, runner at second. Martin at third for Kyle the speedster at second. And he's too low. 3-2.
That was a good sinking fastball, but Lofton is, he's just a smart hitter. He's a good player. He's a smart player. I mean, he doesn't go out of the zone too often. He makes you throw a strike. Even when you get ahead of him with 2 strikes, he's going to make you have to throw another one. He's not going to chase a lot of pitches.
He has not swung at a pitch in this trip to the plate. Now, Lofton, as you say, Joe, he's a very good hitter, and he does not get paid to drive in runs. The man on deck does. Nomar Garciaparra would be next.
Well, I think it's an important thought here is, would you rather face Garciaparra starting all over, or would you rather, try to finish Kenny Lofton off? And I think there's a lot of talk going on in the dugout and every place else about what to do here. I don't think they're exactly sure of what they want to do.
3-2 the count. Well, we'll find out what they decided to do right here. And Lofton gets a piece of it, fighting it off.
And that was a good pitch again by Schmidt. I mean, a sinking fastball. It was probably out of the strike zone, but it starts in the strike zone. And watch, it starts in the strike zone, and it sinks down and away out of the zone. But that's a good pitch by Schmidt, and good job by Lofton just to fight it off.
I'm going back to something you said earlier. Lofton's a good off-speed pitch hitter. They have not thrown him anything but fastballs. No. Staying away from anything off-speed. 3-2. Bonds going back. Still going back. He's got it.
Man. Excellent play there by Barry Bonds.
Kenny Lofton scorched one to left field, and Bonds caught up to it. Bonds will be due up third when we return. Vizquel, Durham, and Barry Bonds coming up against Greg Maddux. Still scoreless in L.A. Greg Maddux to Vizquel. Vizquel with a bunt, third base side. They're letting it roll foul.
That was an inch away from being on the grass, and then it would not have rolled foul. It stayed right on the edge, and it's obviously slanted off. All diamonds are slanted in most cases that way because of for the rain to roll off. But that's a smart bunt because you make it perfect or you foul it off. You don't just put it in play and get thrown out on the first pitch.
Omar Vizquel has been hot lately, but he's never had a hit against Greg Maddux. And that was a changeup that just started in knee high and then disappeared. One ball. It looked like it was Joe up in Yosemite Valley out here in California. Looked like it just fell right over the top of Yosemite Falls. Lofted in center. And Vizquel is 0 for 2. One away. Barry Bonds, the 42-year-old Bonds, called upon to rob the 39-year-old Lofton.
I mean, this ball is hit hard. He doesn't have much time to get back there. You see, he was playing shallow and just times his leap perfectly. Watch this, just perfect timing right there, and comes down with it. I think it saved at least 2 runs.
Now Ray Durham. Durham got off to a very slow start this year for the Giants, then was injured. But starting in late June, he'd been the Giants' most productive home run and RBI man. 19 homers, 67 all told for Durham. And he, like many of the Giants, could be a free agent at the end of this season.
Well, Durham seems to always have great second halves, John. I mean, he's always been a good hitter, but I think he's got. Seems like he's gotten to be stronger, hit more home runs in the last couple of years than before.
Well, especially this year, his next home run will equal his career record for homers in an entire season. And again, that one fell low, and the count is 3-1. Ray Durham tied for second in the major league for home runs by a second baseman. Only Chase Utley has hit more. Jeff Kent, the former Giants second baseman, throws out Durham. 2 down, and now Barry Bonds. Bonds hit one pretty hard the last time up there, Joe, with 2 men on in the first inning.
Well, Gold Glove winner Greg Maddux. See how the ball's tailing away. I mean, he hits it hard, but Maddux is able to reach up and react so quickly, he's able to get to it.
And he turned that into an inning-ending double play. Bonds pops it up. Kent pointing for Lugo, the right fielder, and it is Lugo to catch it. Bonds gone on 1 pitch. A 9-pitch inning for Maddux. Garciaparra and Kent coming up. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. We are at Dodger Stadium, Chavez Ravine, Los Angeles. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Duke Castiglio and Don Johnson, the newest member of our crew. He probably would want to be on the crew. Instead of having to do all those TV shows and movies all the time, you know, coming with us and just doing 1 game a week. Baseball in Hollywood. Nomar Garciaparra, 1 strike to count. That fastball a little bit high. You know, when Ned Colletti acquired Julio Lugo, there was a question like, well, don't you now have too many infielders? Yeah. And he didn't say it in so many words, but because Nomar's had that history of injury, maybe you can't have too many experienced infielders. And Jeff Kent was down for a month as well.
And both, you know, I mean, Kent has been, you know, playing for a long period of time as well, and every time you're injured, it takes a little longer to get back.
Jeff Kent, 38 years old. 2-1. Jason Schmidt gets the low call there, the fastball at the knees. Jeff Kent is on deck, and then Andre Ethier, the rookie sensation, due up 3rd in the inning. Two and 2. The shortstop, Omar Vizquel. And that is out number 1.
The first time we saw Barry this year, we were talking about his knee and how it was bothering him, and that front knee was breaking down a little bit when he started to swing. You see him drag that right foot over. Watch his front leg, how he takes the pressure off. So you hit against a firm front side, but watch how he rolls it over. See, he moves that. That's not, you know, the way Barry used to hit. And this was a pitch, a changeup inside that he could usually drive, but the reason was because he had that movement on his foot, and it changed the trajectory of the bat.
Jeff Kent takes ball 1 from Schmidt. Kent really, his career sort of bloomed when he got to San Francisco in 1997. He was the Giants' everyday second baseman, and he started a string of driving in over 100 runs year after year after year when he was with the Giants.
Well, the great thing, he got over there and you had Barry Bonds around him. You know, I mean, that makes you a better player, right? You know, immediately. Whether you hit in front of Barry or behind him, you're going to get a lot of opportunities, and he took advantage of them.
1 ball, 1 strike to Kent. 1 out, nobody on. That's over the outside corner, strike 2.
And it's easy to say that, you know, Barry was there, but he took advantage of the opportunities. That's the key. I mean, he would drive in runs. You know, he picked up a lot of big runs for the Giants, and he was the most valuable player in the league.
In the year 2000, he won the MVP. 1-2 the count to Kent. Andre Ethier, the rookie, on deck. And that changeup down to the way. Now, although it was a beautiful partnership in terms of the lineup,
Right.
it was not like they were ever really close buddies.
Right.
Jeff Kent has hit more home runs than any other second baseman in the history of the game. More than Ryne Sandberg, more than you, Joe.
Yeah.
More than Rogers Hornsby.
I'll use that old standby. I wasn't a home run hitter.
But you stole a lot more bases.
Yeah, I was
than
a
any
base
other guy.
stealer. Hey, I was a base stealer. Don't give no, that wasn't a home run.
And he won an MVP. You won 2 MVPs.
Yeah, and I was a base stealer. I'm not a home run hitter.
But he's got some.
And I'm a Gold Glove now. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So I forget the home runs.
Joe, you were really something.
Forget the home run.
But 689 steals. Down the third baseline, Feliz, who's got a strong arm. Off the bag, and Kent slides in.
That's going to be a tough call, I think, right there, because the ball was deep behind the bag. Obviously, if he makes an accurate throw, he gets Kent, because Kent is not that fast. But see, it's deep behind the bag. He takes his time. He fires. You can see it clearly had him beat. It clearly had him beat at first base, but since it's such a long throw and a nice slide there by Kent to avoid the tag. They're scoring it an error? Yeah. I mean, obviously an accurate throw would have had him, but it wasn't an easy play because it wasn't hit that sharply either.
So here is Andre Ethier, the 24-year-old rookie left fielder. He struck out his first time, and Schmidt misses off the outside.
Well, you see I'm getting ready for the Little League World Series because I wouldn't score that an error on an amateur. Maybe in the big leagues that's an error.
Yeah.
So just getting ready.
But you know what? When the third baseman is on the edge of the outfield ground,
I know that's
that's a very long throw.
Very long, and you have to be accurate.
And you got to get rid of it in a hurry because the guy Kent was running hard.
And not only that, the ball wasn't hit that hard. That's what I meant. He didn't have a lot of time to wait.
Giants have been a pretty sure-handed club most of the years, second in the league in fielding percentage. Kent, the runner at first. I'm going to call that a forced error.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Like I told you, it's going to be a tough call. It wasn't an easy routine play, and it wasn't too tough for a major league third baseman to make. So, let's take a look at it. Just a matter of how you want to call it. Watch where this ball ends up. I mean, deep, like you said, on the edge of the outfield grass. Look at the long throw. I mean, some guys need a relay to get it that far, but Kent does a great job, of course, of avoiding the tag. So, like I say, it could have gone either way.
But, if he'd taken a little more time.
Right. To make an accurate throw.
Taking that little crow hop step.
Yeah.
And gotten his best throw off, I think he would have put it right there, and Kent would have been across the bag.
Yeah.
And if that had happened, they would have given him a hit.
Right. No, it was definitely one of those, just in the mind of the scorekeeper. I won't criticize him either way.
But if
I usually have to get on him, but that was, I could live with either one of those.
But if you talk to Kent afterward, tell him I was trying to lobby for a hit for him.
Okay.
1-2 to Ethier. And he strikes out again against Schmidt.
Well, that was an excellent pitch there. Fastball in under the hands.
Third baseman, Wilson Rudderman.
Now watch the target. See where the target is, and he hits the target perfectly. A little bit off the plate, just enough so it's not really down and in. It's off the plate inside. Beautiful pitch.
So 2 men gone, and here is Wilson Betemit, who struck out his first time. Kent, the runner at first. He's not a base stealer. Not these days. Has 1 steal this year, although back when he was with the Giants, he stole 11, 12, 13 bases this season. Kent had 6 straight years with the Giants, over 100 RBIs. And he's the only second baseman in history ever to do that.
Well, he was an amazing RBI man during that stretch. I mean, and he even drove in 100 runs his first year with the Dodgers. The guy's an RBI machine.
In fact, 8 of the last 9 years, over 100 RBIs for Kent. He had 105 for LA last year, 107 in Houston the year before that. And Schmidt is behind Betemit. 2 balls, no strikes. 26-year-old Wilson Betemit.
And this is a pitch that Schmidt has to be careful with. Because Betemit is sitting on a fastball. He wants one, and he'll try to drive it. So you have to make sure you make a good pitch with it.
He hit a 2-run homer against the hard-throwing Matt Cain, the rookie pitcher, here yesterday. Batting left-handed. Back to the screen. Pretty good rip at that one, 2-1. This was the game-winning hit yesterday. Broke a 4-4 tie.
I just like his swing, and I like his balance. I just like the way, he handles the batter's box.
That was his 13th home run of the year. More than any Dodger currently on the roster. He's hit 4 of them since coming to the Dodgers. And that is a foul off the left field line.
And again, a good pitch there by Schmidt. The ball is moving away from him, and he's got good velocity.
One of the reasons Ned Colletti wanted, or I'm going to say coveted, Wilson Betemit, because the Dodgers don't have that much power.
Right.
And he said, there are not many power hitters available.
True.
Power hitters kind of scarce.
Yeah.
And so he thought, well, Betemit has got some power, and maybe he's the guy who can help fill that void a little bit. And he's hit 4, as I've said, since the trade. And now it's 3-2 with 2 down. Betemit coming here to the Dodgers. He's a switch hitter. And one of the greatest switch hitters of all time is the Dodgers hitting instructor, Eddie Murray.
So what better place to go?
Yeah. Kent takes off from first base. Change up, strike 3 call. 1 man left onto the 5th. Moises Alou coming up against Greg Maddux, and in 60 seconds we'll visit with Dodgers right-hander Derek Lowe live from the dugout. Back in 60. Sunday Night Baseball from Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The San Francisco Giants nothing. The Los Angeles Dodgers nothing. As we head to the 5th inning, Greg Maddux, the Dodgers newly acquired right-hander, up against Jason Schmidt, and Derek Lowe in the Dodgers dugout. Derek, welcome to Sunday Night Baseball.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing? Derek, we know that Maddux has had a big impact on the team. Has he had any effect on you personally yet?
I don't try to pick his brain as that much because I know he's probably so used to it. But, being a sinker ball guy, I do definitely talk about, certain situations. And he's taught me a lot about, how to go about a lineup. Certain guys that, you can't let beat you. The biggest thing I've learned from him is his preparation. I've never seen a guy like this prepare for a game. He knows every single thing that he needs to know before a game.
Right, so he helps you pick out the guy that can hurt you the most in the other lineup. I think that's a very key ingredient there.
Absolutely. His philosophy is, you beat lineups, not individuals, and there's no better guy to learn from than him.
All right. Thanks, Derek.
Derek, we have one more question for you, though, as Moises Alou takes the ball inside. Because I read something that you'd said, the trades that the Dodgers made around the trading deadline, and you kind of likened it to what happened in Boston in 2004 around the deadline.
Absolutely. We were a 500 team for about, up until the trade deadline, and we got 3 guys and we took off. And, sometimes change is, from the outside, it may not look like a great trade, but, the trades that we did made, and, we've done the same thing that Boston did in 2004. I think we've lost 1 time in August, and, we're really playing some good baseball.
So when the trades were made, this created some excitement in your clubhouse.
Absolutely. You bring in some new guys that are excited to be in a pennant race. And it brings new energy. Nothing against the guys that we got rid of, but sometimes change when things aren't going good definitely help, and you got to give this organization credit and going out and getting these guys that we needed.
Derek Lowe, many thanks.
Thank you.
Derek Lowe, the Dodgers right-hander, and our appreciation to him for coming on between innings. Moises Alou has popped up to the shortstop, and here is Shea Hillenbrand, who grounded out to third his first time against Greg Maddux. And that sinker, a strike caught on the outside.
Well, the Giants were hoping that the addition of Hillenbrand would add some power, some RBI production, run production to their lineup when they acquired him from Toronto. But so far, he is still finding his way in the National League.
And he's been swinging a lot of bad balls, and he's always been a kind of a free swinger. Yeah. But Hillenbrand has only driven in 3 runs for the Giants since his acquisition from the Blue Jays. And of course, he was available because of some bad feeling, a rift between Hillenbrand and the manager, John Gibbons, in Toronto.
Well, the one thing I want to say about that, John, I don't know what happened in that situation, but it seems to me that we always assume that the player is wrong. And that's not always the case. I'm not speaking of this particular instance. I'm speaking in general terms, because I've seen situations where the player wasn't wrong all the time. Sometimes the manager's wrong. And I'm not speaking of this situation because I have no idea what happened in Toronto.
Well, Hillenbrand has still not yet really gotten it going as a Giant. Let's go down to Duke Castiglione.
Fellas, on the heels of what Derek Lowe was talking about, Derek also told me yesterday, he said, you know, sometimes I'll give up a hit or a home run, and I'll say, why did I throw that pitch? He said when he talked to Maddox, Maddox never second guesses himself. Maddox never throws a pitch he doesn't want to throw that he's not committed to.
In right center field, Kenny Lofton's got it. Pedro Feliz is out on one pitch. Maddox has not thrown more than 9 pitches in an inning yet. No score. Jason Schmidt heads back to the hill. We got the pitchers duel going. Tonight's telecast is available in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Hitachi. And if you're viewing in high definition right now, you may well feel almost as if you're here at Dodger Stadium.
Well, we talked
in the game.
Sorry, John. We talked about how similar these two pitchers are. Now watch how they're both working off the plate. Look at that, just off the plate. Sinking fastballs, a little high sinker, but it's out of the zone. Here's another great pitch there. Sinker out of the zone. And here's Schmidt right down on the edge, change up, fastball away. Look at that, right off the edge, off the plate inside. I mean, so they're very similar in their approach. They may do it different velocity-wise, but their approaches are very similar.
See, so we're actually seeing sort of in practice what Schmidt had said a few years ago about the lessons that Maddox had tried to teach him.
Took him 7 years, according to you. I think he just took him a year or so.
Well, maybe it was 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, took him 7 years to sink in. It's interesting though because when I go to the Hall of Fame each year, I end up sitting with some pitchers. Sandy Koufax, Steve Carlton, Don Sutton, Tom Seaver, Raleigh Fingers. We all sit at the same table, and they let me and Carlton Fish sit there with them. And I always learn something each year about pitching from those guys. And one of the things that Koufax had told Maddox is he's very similar to Maddox. Maddox kind of laughed. What are you talking about? Because Koufax overpowered, but Koufax used the outside part of the plate and just a little off, and he moved the ball. He pitched away most of the time, and that's where the similarity was.
Fastball.
According to Koufax.
A little bit low to Lugo, 2-1. Well, Sandy Koufax, when Sandy speaks, people listen.
Definitely.
One of the greatest of all the Dodgers, especially since they came to L.A. And sometimes, just for fun, get the Baseball Encyclopedia and look up 1963, 64, 65, 66. Those 4 years, the average year for Koufax was 24 wins, 7 losses. That was just the average.
What was that great line from Yogi Berra? He said, I can't believe it. They said, what, you can't believe? He says, I can believe that he can win 22 games. I just can't believe he can lose 4.
Well, in 1963, as Julio Lugo strikes out, Schmidt has struck out 3 in a row and 5 for the game now. In fact, let me just double. That's 6 strikeouts for the game for Schmidt. And Russ Martin will come up. 1963, Koufax really emerged. He was healthy, and he put it all together for the first time, 25-5. And the Dodgers went to the World Series against the Yankees. Game 1 was at Yankee Stadium against, the mighty Yankees, who were always in the World Series. And they had Whitey Ford going, one of the great postseason pitchers of all time. And in New York, they were sort of saying, well, we've heard about Koufax, but this is Yankee Stadium now. He's facing the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford. And Whitey retired the Dodgers in order in the top of the first inning. Yankee fans just sort of, hey, see, that is how it's done in October. Koufax went out in the bottom of the ninth, struck out the side on 10 pitches. Went out and struck 15 for the game.
I've seen that act. 15, 16.
The Dodgers not only won that game back with Koufax, they swept that World Series from the Yankees.
I had a great talk this week with Bob Gibson.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're all
I'm just name dropping. Well, I was disappointed because Bob didn't come to the Hall of Fame this year. Usually he sits at the table with us, and I pick all their brains about pitching.
Well, that's probably why he didn't come then. Doesn't like to give away his secrets to a guy like you.
Now, John, there's the play you were talking about. That's a similar play, except he got it quicker, and also he took his time. He had time because you have a catcher running. He takes his time. Now watch this. He'll go in the same play. Now watch. See, he takes his time, takes that little crow hop that you're talking about. Now he makes an accurate throw because the catcher's running. He couldn't do that with Kent. So that's one of the reasons we talked about maybe that should have been a base hit. But you see that he took his time because he had time with the catcher, and he makes an accurate throw.
Yeah. Kent's thing, they scored Feliz an error, but it was a forced error.
Yeah, and a tough play.
Now here's Maddox, Ray Durham, and Jason Schmidt has a Maddox-style inning. Both pitchers on top of their game right now. On to the 6th inning. 0-0.
ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Brought to you by AT&T Home Turf. Catch a glimpse into your favorite athletes' worlds at seehowtheylive.com.
Dodger Stadium still looks almost brand new.
Yeah.
45th season of baseball here in Chavez Ravine, LA. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, along with Duke Castiglione, and the Giants and the Dodgers. Next Sunday, by the way, Joe, Yankees Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball. Greg Maddux in the dirt for ball 1. Greg Maddux, that was his 41st pitch of the game. He has not thrown more than 9 pitches in any one inning.
And you can see his season average is still, one of the best in Major League Baseball at 13.7.
With his average number of pitches, he could go 12 or 13 innings at this pace. 2-1 the count. Maddux pitched 6 no-hit innings in his Dodgers debut. That'll get your attention. And then a rain delay hit, and they sat out for a couple of hours, after which they took Maddux out of the game as Eliezer Alfonso grounds out to Kent, and there is one away. Now Jason Schmidt will come up. Jason Schmidt is a guy whose contract ends at the end of this year, and there are a lot of Giants who have the same situation, including 5 men in their starting lineup: Barry Bonds, Moises Alou, Shea Hillenbrand, Ray Durham, Pedro Feliz, and then of course their ace starter, Jason Schmidt. So Brian Sabean, the Giants general manager, who's had such a great long string of success since taking over the ball club in 1997, will have a lot of decisions to make when this year is over.
Well, I think the 2 major decisions obviously are Barry Bonds first, and then Jason Schmidt. I think those 2 guys, have been the backbone of this ball club for the last few years, and I think those are the 2 biggest decisions you make. Obviously, I mean, you're going to bring Barry back, and at what cost? And Schmidt the same way, at what cost?
That is strike 3 called to Schmidt. Number 2 here in the 6th inning. No score in the game. So the Giants president, Peter McGowan, one of the owners of the ball club, has been asked about Bond's future with the ball club, and he said, well, that will be addressed when the season is over. And he said, we're not saying we wouldn't sign him. We're not saying we will sign him. We want the season to play out and do what's best for the ball club then.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is see what impact they think he will have on this lineup next year. And that's going to be determined by how he finishes the season and what they see down the stretch.
2 down. Here is Randy Winn, the Giants leadoff man. He's had a single, and he's flied out to left center. Giants had 2 hits in the first inning, have not had a hit since.
But the one thing to remember with Barry Bonds is his presence along makes guys around him better. I mean, I don't care what he is hitting. I don't care what his batting average is. The pitchers don't look up on the board to see his batting average. When they see Barry Bonds walking up to the plate, he gets their attention. And that changes the way that you pitch to the hitters in front of him and sometimes behind him. So he does have an impact.
Just off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But will he have a big impact? I mean, that's the key. How much of an impact are you willing to pay for? How much, impact will he have?
Yeah, and I mean, Bonds has played in 94 games this year and started in the high 80s, which is probably more than they might have expected from a guy who just turned 42 last month.
And coming off the knee problems that he had. So, I mean, he's put the effort in. There's no doubt about that. But it's still a question of how much he can help you. And they're going to have to make that decision. And as you said, they're going to make it at the end of the season.
Bonds with a .248 average, 15 homers so far this year, and a far cry from what they had grown accustomed to in San Francisco. The other question, of course, is it's the National League. If you keep him, he has to play the field.
Yeah. Well, he made a great play tonight to save 2 runs, but I'm sure there have been balls that he couldn't catch up to.
For Kyle. And that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Greg Maddux has retired 16 in a row. Down to the last of the 6th, the top of the order for Kyle, Lofton, and Nomar against Schmidt. No score. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. With Joe Morgan and Duke Castiglione, this is John Miller, and we're heading to the 7th inning, or the last of the 6th inning, rather, of a 0-0 game. DHL presents Major League Baseball Hometown Heroes. Vote for the most outstanding player in each club's history now at MLB.com. Now that's tough to just for one outstanding player.
Yeah, that is.
Be a hard choice.
Oh, a lot of choices, tough choices.
Here's Rafael Furcal. He struck out and walked against Schmidt. No score in the game. The Dodgers have only 1 hit against Schmidt. And that is a foul that is well back out of play off the left field line. 0-1 the count. The Giants have 2 hits against Maddux. The 2 hits came within the span of the first 3 hitters of the game. Then he got Barry Bonds to hit a line drive that Maddux caught and turned into an inning-ending double play. The Giants haven't had a base runner since. Maddux has retired 16 in a row, including Barry Bonds twice. Lofton and Garcia Parra on deck. And Bonds in shadow left. Number 1. Now, Matt Weiner with a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
The Dodgers center fielder, Kenny Lofton.
Thanks, Matt. And here is Kenny Lofton. And there is Omar Vizquel. Former teammates with the Cleveland Indians. Hit back-to-back in the batting order there in Cleveland on some very good ball clubs. Lofton is 0 for 3 now. 2 down, and here comes Nomar. By the way, next Sunday, we'll check in with the Red Sox ourselves. 8 Eastern. The Red Sox and the Yankees. And, Joe, it looks like we might get a Curt Schilling, Mike Messina matchup next Sunday night.
Well, we deserve that.
We do.
Yeah, we're going to go all the way to Boston. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our thanks in advance.
Yeah, thank you.
Nomar has flied out to right and grounded out to short. Jason Schmidt delivers too low for ball 1. Schmidt with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Schmidt only got 9 wins this year, but he's got the 3rd best earned run average in the National League among all the starting pitchers. And he's real tough to hit. He came into the game tonight 157 innings pitched, only 131 hits allowed. Big cut there by Nomar. And it is a ball and a strike. The Yankees and Red Sox play a 5-game series starting Friday at Fenway Park. They'll start with a doubleheader Friday. And you'll be able to see most of that series right here on ESPN and ESPN2. A ball and a strike. That's into left field, a base hit. And that is the 2nd hit of the game for LA. And here comes Jeff Kent, the cleanup hitter.
Well, the one thing you hate to do is face a guy like Kent late in the ball game when he's had a couple of at-bats against you. Not a bad pitch, that's just good hitting. A sinker down and away, and Garcia Parra pulls it in the hole. So it's not a bad pitch, and just good hitting. But Jeff Kent, you know, in these types of situations, that he's seen you twice already, knows how you've gotten him out, and he makes adjustments very well.
Kent against his old teammate Schmidt tonight has grounded a short and been safe on an error by Pedro Feliz. Officially 0 for 2. They got the low call, strike 1.
The one thing that I've noticed, though, is not one time in this ball game has Schmidt come off the plate inside to Kent or even pitched him in. Everything has been away, and he's had success out there. So we'll see if he stays out there.
He stayed away to Nomar. He poked one into left field.
And these guys adjust, you know, the 2nd or 3rd time through the order. They know what you're doing.
Going away again.
Yeah.
Into the hole. Vizquel to second. Teeth.
Well, exactly the same result. They know what he's doing, And both guys went out there and got it and pulled it in the hole.
An infield hit for Kent. Nomar running with a bad right knee. Beat that throw. A beautiful play by Vizquel.
Well, sinker away, and it's down and away. But Kent goes out there and gets it, and he pulls it in the hole. And you see Vizquel can't get it to second base in time. Nice try. Nice pickup there by Durham.
And the nice call by Bruce Dreckman, the second base umpire. And the big crowd at Dodger Stadium making some big noise right now as one of the outstanding Dodger rookies, Andre Ethier, comes up. Ethier came into the game hitting .350 for the year, but Schmidt has struck him out twice. That's another thing to keep in mind. The shadows now with the pitcher and the hitter in the shadows, but the backdrop lit up in the sunshine, that has pretty much gone away now.
Well, what he did, he struck him out with a fastball away his first time up. He struck him out with a fastball in his second time. So Ethier doesn't know exactly where he's going to go.
A ball and no strikes. On the outside with a fastball.
Unlike Kent and Garciaparra, they knew where he was going to go because he had pitched him the same way the previous two at bats. Well, Ethier, he's gone in once and out away, once to strike him out. So he's not as sure as Kent and Garciaparra was about where the pitch was going to be.
Situations like this is where Ethier has been at his best this year. I mean, he's a guy who usually puts the ball in play, although not tonight against Schmidt. 2 men on, 2 men out. Too low. Ethier coming into this game hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. And remember, the Dodgers as a team had the best batting average with runners in scoring position, which we call a runner at second or third or both. Grady Little, the Dodger manager, wouldn't mind a clutch hit right here. No score, 6th inning, 2 on, 2 out. Change up. 2-2.
It's interesting, John, because by the second pitch with a runner in scoring position this late in the ball game, you know after the second pitch how he's going to try to get a guy out. Well, I didn't know how he was going to try to get him out after 2 pitches, which shows you the difference in Schmidt now than the Schmidt before.
2-2 the count to Ethier. Schmidt in a jam with 2 down. Nomar at second. Kent at first. Checking Nomar. Struck him out with a low fastball. He has struck out Andre Ethier 3 straight times. 2 men stranded now. Big hitters coming up with the Giants. Vizquel, Durham, and that man, Barry Bonds. Greg Maddux, who wears number 36 here in LA. I was kind of used to seeing number 31 on his back. But with the Dodgers, number 36, number 31 belongs to Brad Penny.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that, John.
Here's the pitch to Vizquel. And Jeff Kent throws him out. And Vizquel, the Giants' hottest hitter, the hottest hitter in baseball right now, 0 for 3 against Greg Maddux. 17 in a row retired by Maddux now, who didn't throw as many as 10 pitches in any of the first 5 innings. And he's only the second pitcher in all of Major League Baseball to have gone 5 innings without a 10-pitch inning this year. We looked it up, Joe. And
okay.
Ray Durham, that's a strike. Now, it says something about Maddux. He's obviously got things working tonight. But the Giants are also a very aggressive team.
Well, with Maddux, I mean, you know he's not going to walk you a lot of hitters, so you're not going to sit there and go 0-2 and decide to start hitting. So you know that you're going to get a pretty good pitch to hit early in the count rather than late in the count.
That's down the left field line and foul. Deep down the left field line, but very much foul. 0-2 to Durham, who has singled and has grounded out. He singled back in the first inning with 1 on and 1 out. And the Giants have not had a base runner since then. We're in the 7th inning now. Inside. That spun him away. And Maddux got a little extra now at 88 miles an hour. 1-2. Dodgers have put 5 men on base against Schmidt with 3 hits, a Giants error, and Schmidt has walked 1. Wow. Change up, struck him out, pulled out of the dirt by Martin for the tag out. Durham is gone.
Well, this is one of those pitches that just the bottom falls out of it. Watch this. Going to be up in the strike zone. See how high it is? Now look where the catcher catches that ball. That ball was in the middle of the strike zone about halfway to the plate. Now, this is one of those situations where, you know, Derek Lowe said he talked to Maddux about. You pitch to a lineup. The point is, are you going to let Barry Bonds beat you in this situation? I say no, but we'll see. Well, it didn't take my advice, but he went right after him.
Now Bonds,
I don't think he was ready. Well, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready when Maddux started this windup, so he took the pitch.
That looked like a hittable pitch.
It was definitely right there. Probably the best pitch he's going to see in this at bat.
Fastball up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bonds ripped one right back to Maddux, who caught it and turned it into a double play in the first. And he popped up to shallow right his next time. There's nobody anywhere near the third base area. The third baseman, Betemit, is at shortstop. That sinker down and in. 2-1. Bonds has hit 8 home runs against Maddux, which, as you see how they are lined themselves defensively, he's hit the most home runs in his career against Maddux. There are a few other pitchers on the list he's also hit 8 home runs against. Left center, Ethier calling for it on the warning track. Greg Maddux, what a performance. Middle of the 7th, no score. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. The Giants and the Dodgers, no score. The red-hot Dodgers. The Giants trying to resuscitate themselves. They've been ice cold. We've got a scoreless battle. The 328-game winner, Greg Maddux, 7 scoreless innings. The Giants all-star, their ace, Jason Schmidt, 6 scoreless innings. And now the Dodgers with Wilson Betemit leading it off in the 7th. You know, and the fastball misses.
Derek Lowe was talking about Greg Maddux saying you pitch to the lineup. Well, you also pitch to the ballpark. You know, this ballpark, that ball that Barry hit, that's a home run in Wrigley Field. But it's not a home run here in Dodger Stadium. So you keep the ball in the left center, right center, and center field, you're going to have a better chance of, you know, keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Barry Bonds, and there's one away.
Let's take a look at the pitch that Barry just missed, hitting out of the ballpark. It's a fastball up, and it's moving away, and Barry just opens up a hair too quickly. Now watch where this ball hits on the barrel of the bat, and you'll see just exactly why that wasn't a home run. See that? You can see a lot of the ball exposed up here, which means that he got right underneath it, that 1/16 of an inch that we talk about. That's the difference between a long fly ball and a home run to the outfield. I mean, that was, you could see, just barely missed that ball.
Ball
but
on
again,
Julio Lugo.
But again, that's why Maddux is Maddux. I mean, he kept that ball in the ballpark. He pitched to the big part of this ballpark by staying away from Barry there.
The later it gets, the less well the ball carries at Dodger Stadium. The Dodger bullpen is busy, by the way, but Greg Maddux has only thrown 60 pitches in this game. I mean, he's thrown 7 shutout innings, only 60 pitches. Julio Lugo 0 for 2 against Schmidt. Caught by Vizquel, the Gold Glover, with the headlong dive.
That's a classic play there by Omar Vizquel. I mean, this ball's hit hard. Watch how quickly he moves. Great catch there. He's moving as the ball is coming off the bat. He didn't wait till it was hit and then go. He could see the angle of the bat, and he started to move just a little before the ball was hit that way. Nice play.
Vizquel, 39 years old, and still playing shortstop. Perhaps the most demanding of positions on the infield.
The most demanding. You're correct, on the infield.
And I mean, catcher's pretty demanding, but
yeah, no.
But I don't think there's ever been a
no.
I mean, Ozzie Smith was still great,
yeah,
but he wasn't playing every day when he was 39.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, the toughest positions to play, the infield is shortstop, the outfield is center field. I mean, that's the toughest positions to play because you have more area to cover and you have tougher plays in the gaps. In the outfield, you got to go from gap to gap, and on the infield, you got to go from the hole to up the middle. I mean, it's just more area to cover, which makes it a more difficult position to play. Plus, you can't fumble the ball on the infield. Third base, you can knock it down, pick it up, and throw them out. Second base, you can do the same. First base, you can do the same. But at shortstop, if you fumble the ball, you're not going to be able to throw guys out after you knock it down.
So he doesn't fumble many, is evidenced by the fact he's only committed 3 errors the whole year. And he's hitting, he came into the game tonight hitting .324. It's his 112th game played of the year. I mean, he's the ageless one out there.
Well, I actually thought he played too many games last year because he was hitting very well up to All-Star break, and then, you know, he kind of struggled the second half. But it seems to have.
He got particularly hot here in August. Ray Durham throws out Russ Martin, the Dodger catcher. Schmidt with 7 shutout innings. A 9-pitch inning for Schmidt. Moises Alou coming up. Greg Maddux and Jason Schmidt, 0-0.
ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And in part by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution.
On to the 8th inning now at Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The first place Los Angeles Dodgers, who have won 14 of their last 15. The last place Giants, who've lost 15 of their last 18. And the Dodgers trying to complete a sweep. The Giants trying to pick themselves up and get headed in the right direction. No score. Greg Maddux has a 2-hit shutout going. And strike 1 swinging. Moises Alou, who has grounded out to short and popped out to short. Greg Maddux just threw his 61st pitch. He has retired 19 consecutive hitters since he allowed 2 hits in the first inning with 1 out. Maddux, 40 years old, and Joe, this is we're seeing a vintage Maddux performance so far tonight.
Well, what you're seeing is a lot of speed changes. I mean, he's throwing at different speed. Very rarely does he throw 2 pitches at the exact same speed.
Wilson Betemit. Alou is out number 1, 20 in a row, retired by Greg Maddux.
I'm going to show you 5 pitches here, and you can note down at the bottom over here the speed of all these pitches. There's an 86-mile-an-hour pitch. There's an 83, 87. I mean, look at this. This is why he's so effective. 88 and 84. So he goes anywhere from 83 to 88 miles per hour on the same exact pitch, the same rotation, same everything.
And there's a strike. And you pointed out in the very first inning, he was getting the ball up.
And that's when they gave the hits.
Right over the plate. But as we saw right there, that's where he's been ever since.
Yeah, since that time, he's been excellent. Well, there's another one up, and there's hit hard again, but right at the third baseman.
Hillenbrand is thrown out by Wilson Betemit.
And that's interesting. We've seen 2 balls in a row hit to the third baseman, and you know that tells you a little bit about, you know, they weren't pulling the ball off of him before. Now those 2 pitches were right there, and they kind of pulled him to the third baseman.
So 2 down, nobody on, and Pedro Feliz comes up. 21 straight hitters for 22 outs. The first of those hitters, Barry Bonds, hit into a, well, he lined one into a double play right back to Maddux. So 21 straight hitters he's retired for 22 outs. Bonds, who had that line drive out in the first and hit a deep fly ball to left center in the 7th. 1 strike to count. And a ball off the outside. Now Maddux has not even thrown 70 pitches in the game. We don't see anybody warming up in the LA bullpen. Although Tomko was up in the 7th when there was a possibility they might pinch hit had something gotten going. 1 and 2 to Feliz.
Maddux would lead off in the bottom of the 8th inning.
There's the bullpen. No work out there right now. 1 and 2 to Feliz. .22 in a row. Retired by Maddux. And as he heads off the mound, a large ovation from his new hometown crowd, saluting the great Maddux. No score in the game. Last of the 8th inning, and Grady Little has made a decision here. Greg Maddux is finished for the night. James Loney, the 22-year-old rookie first baseman, who's been a hot hitter lately, had a double and a triple here yesterday. He is going to pinch hit for Maddux, who at age 40 has given the Dodgers 8 dazzling innings here tonight. Maddux has won 328 games, Joe. He's had a lot of great games, but how many has he had better than what we saw from him tonight? But here's Loney against Jason Schmidt. And that's ball one.
The one thing I kind of like about him taking him out, John, is that you're not expecting Greg Maddux to come here and be your #1 starter. You're not expecting him to be your horse. You know, he's a 3rd or 4th starter at this point in his career. And you're not expecting him, but so you're showing him, look, we appreciate what you've done. This is what we want, and I think it works well. If you put him out there under that extreme pressure to go 9 or whatever, you're saying, well, you're my horse again, and he's not at that stage of this stage of his career. He's not fit to be that horse anymore.
2-1 the count. Plus, they may pay benefits, get more out of him as the season goes along. They've got other big games yet to be pitched in this pennant race.
But on the opposite side, Jason Schmidt is the horse of the Giants. So you're going to expect him to stay there and keep pitching. Now, he's actually a second hitter in the top of the 9th inning if he's still in there and it's a tie ball game. They may pinch hit for him at that point, but you expect him to be, he's the horse of your staff. So there is a difference between the two of them tonight and what you expect from the two of them.
Schmidt has now thrown 104 pitches in the game. Maddux retires having thrown 68 pitches. He only threw as many as 10 pitches in 1 inning of the game. And he finished up retiring 22 consecutive hitters. The Giants never got a base runner after the 1st inning. And the fans showed their appreciation, and they seemed to sense that he was probably not going to come back for the 9th inning. When he left the mound after another 3-up, 3-down inning in the 8th, they chose at that moment spontaneously to give him a huge ovation, as if they sensed, hey, that's probably it for the great Maddux tonight. And sure enough, Loney out as the pinch hitter. Furcal and Lofton, the top of the order, coming up next. We're at Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles, Sunday Night Baseball. Got a pitcher's duel going here, a beauty. No score, last of the 8th. And Jason Schmidt gets his 8th strikeout of the night for the Giants. Loney goes down. The Giants, no runs in 2 hits. They got the 2 hits in the very 1st inning against Greg Maddux, who then got Barry Bonds to line one back to him and turned it into an inning-ending double play and never allowed another base runner for the night. Maddux, 8 shutout innings, 2 hits allowed. Jason Schmidt, meanwhile, has not only 3 hits and has 8 strikeouts, 1 walk in his time on the hill. The former teammate of Maddux in Atlanta. The bunt to shortstop. The bare hand, Vizquel off the glove of Hillenbrand anyway.
He was going to be safe. I haven't seen that in a long time. That's the way Matty Alou used to do it. He would drag the ball to shortstop instead of pushing it down to the 3rd baseman. Nice bunt right to shortstop. He's running. Now watch, the umpire was going to call him safe. You see, the umpire had the call already that he was safe. Nice play by Vizquel. You see he's clearly across the bag.
So brilliantly executed by Rafael Furcal. And of course now Schmidt's got to concentrate on Furcal and the hitter. Furcal can steal that bag. He's stolen 1 already tonight. And Lofton, who is a great bunter, bluffs the bunt.
Well, I don't even think he was going to bunt there, John. The best way to help a base stealer, if he's going to take off, is to square around and bunt and pull the bat back, because that keeps the catcher from coming forward. You can't come forward if he's in a bunting position and pulls the bat back.
1 ball, no strikes. Now Schmidt used to be known, really notorious for having a big, slow delivery to the plate, easy to steal a bag against. He's worked hard on that this year and has allowed 10 steals, but there have been 7 guys thrown out trying to steal with him on the mound this year. He's worked on that move to first base. He's also got a little bit more of a slide step than he used to have.
Well, Greg Maddux was the same way. Maddux did not hold runners well, and he wasn't really concerned. He was always concerned with the hitter, but the Giants weren't able to exploit that because they couldn't get any base runners.
Phillies very shallow at 3rd. Furcal, the runner at 1st. Lofton, base hit to left field.
Well, these 2 guys at the top of the order are what we talked about at the beginning of the ball game, and why the Dodgers have done well in their last 14 out of 15 ball games. These two guys at the top are getting on base. They have speed, and they've been setting the table and giving a lot of opportunities to the guys lower in the middle of the order. Good pitch there by Schmidt. The ball's away, but watch Lofton's approach here. That front shoulder stays in. Now he just goes the other way, and you can see that ball hit squarely right on this fat part of the bat. Nice swing, nice hitting, and good job there by Lofton.
Now Nomar. And just by the roar of the crowd, you can tell that the Dodgers' hot streak has inspired this crowd. Right now, they expect something great to happen. The Giants bullpen gets busy for the first time. Inside, the target set on the outside by Alfonso, the catcher. There is Mike Stanton, the left-hander, up in the Giants bullpen. The first action the Giants have had tonight. Schmidt's up around 110 pitches for the game now.
Well, remember, that's the first time he's gone inside against Garciaparra or Kent. And remember, they both leaned out over the plate and pulled the ball in the hole last time. Now he goes away. So that's smart pitching by Schmidt. He came off the plate inside to make Garciaparra think that maybe I'm going to pitch him inside. No, he goes back to where he had success early in the ballgame.
The Dodgers, who have hit .288, best in the National League as a team in these clutch situations. Nomar's hitting .356 with runners in scoring position. The foul off Alfonso, the catcher. And now Schmidt ahead of Garciaparra. A ball and 2 strikes. Nomar got a base hit his last time through the hole on the left side and is 1 for 3 in the game. There is Kent, who's been about as reliable an RBI man as there's been in the game the last 9 years.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt Schmidt's in a lot of trouble, but again, it's created by the 2 guys at the top of the order to give these guys 2 shots at driving them in.
55,699, the sellout crowd at Dodger Stadium. No score in the game. Last of the 8th. 2 men on, 1 man out. Schmidt steps off the slab, and now Alfonso goes out. Remember, he got a rookie catcher.
Yeah.
And he and Schmidt have to do a lot of talking here for Alfonso to know what Schmidt wants to do. Schmidt, as the veteran, really has to take charge in a spot like this.
Well, I think you have to pitch your own game anyway. I mean, you're in charge out there. You're the guy that has to throw the pitch. And we go back to something that they said about Maddox. You have to be committed to that pitch. So you want to make sure that the catcher calls the same pitch that you have in mind. And you don't let him change your mind. But I don't think they know the catcher knew exactly where he wanted to go with this next pitch.
A ball and 2 strikes to Nomar.
I still think they have to go away.
Catcher going inside. And right off the mask of Alfonso with that foul.
So he had success to getting him out away until he looked for the ball out there. But this keeps him from looking out there. So it's a smart pitch. I thought the first pitch was a great pitch off the plate inside, and then he went back away. But you can see that he does still tie him up inside. So nice, excellent pitch by Schmidt.
You go in there, you cannot make a mistake.
That's the point. You cannot make a mistake and get a lot of the plate.
Lots of speed on the base pass. Furcade at second, Lofton at first. He struck him out.
And that's an excellent pitch. You have to go. I mean, you have to get him out of the way. That's where he's had success. So he wants to go there. But he did a great job of setting him up to get there. Watch the first pitch inside. That sets him up for this pitch away for a strike. And then a changeup. And another fastball inside. Then he goes back away again, and he gets him to chase that pitch off the plate. That's as good as you can pitch a guy in that situation and set him up for the pitch that you wanted to get him out with.
And although Schmidt's now up around 114 pitches, 115 pitches or so,
let's see.
Looks like he's still got some great stuff.
He does. Oh, he does. He's concentrating. Let's see if he wants to do the same with Kent, because Kent went out and got a fastball the last time.
A fastball on the outside for a hit his last time. That is a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. Jeff Kent, 8 years out of the last 9 has driven in over 100 runs. There has never been a second baseman to do anything like that in the history of the game. This year, he's had injury problems, missed 30 days, just got back earlier this week. Kent with 48 RBIs this year.
Well, you're going to go out again and talk to him. And you know, the fans are booing, but you're at a time of the ball game where you can win or lose the game with one pitch. So you want to make sure you're on the same, you know, page here. You don't want the catcher to give you a target away if you're trying to go inside. You know, you can play games early in the ball game by saying, okay, I'm going to set up outside. You can still throw it inside to keep the hitter off balance. But at this stage of the game, you are not going to do that. You can't play any games. This is, you know, win or lose time, and you've got to be on the same page and just make the pitch that you want in the location that you want.
The Giants' regular catcher, the veteran Mike Matheny, is on the disabled list with post-concussion syndrome and will likely not be back this year. They've been going with the rookie. Over in foul ground, Feliz. He's got room, and the inning is over. Jason Schmidt has matched his former teammate and roommate Greg Maddux with 8 shutout innings, and he got through a lot of trouble there in the 8th. On to the 9th inning. Giants nothing, Dodgers nothing. The long-standing rivalry, the Giants and the Dodgers, Southern California, Northern California. And right now the Dodgers trying to sweep this series, and they're going to a former Giant, Brett Tomko, to come on in relief of Greg Maddux. Tomko, who's been a starter through most of his career, just recently has been converted to the bullpen. And he throws a called strike to Eliezer Alfonso, the young Giants catcher. Alfonso, who has hit 9 home runs and 169 at-bats as a rookie. Fastball away. And Tomko has always had a very good fastball. That one at 94 miles an hour. Now there is Armando Benitez, the Giants closer, warming up in the bullpen. Jason Schmidt is due up next, but he is not in the on-deck circle. And Alfonso hooks that one down the left field line for a base hit. Ethier will hold him to a single.
And now they're going to call Sweeney back, because that tells you that maybe they're going to try to hit and run or bunt. It gives them some more options now by bringing Vizcaino up.
Mark Sweeney, the Giants veteran pinch hitter deluxe, was out on deck. And he went back to the dugout after the single, and now Jose Vizcaino will come in as the pinch hitter instead.
You said, I was going to ask you, you said Benitez is the closer. Is he still the closer?
He is still the closer for the Giants, although
I thought I read last week or something where they were going to use a committee to close.
Well, Felipe said that he was still overall the closer, but he was going to look at situations.
Right.
And if he thought there might be a better situation for another pitcher in the closing spot, he would not hesitate to go the other way.
Well, a great job tonight by Schmidt having to match Greg Maddux, because Maddux wasn't giving up even base runners, let alone a run. So Jason Schmidt did a tremendous job to keep this a 0-0 ball game.
Vizcaino showing bunt, took it, and it's called a strike.
And this again gives Felipe Alou some options. You know, he's going to try to bunt him over there, but if he doesn't and he wants to change his mind, you know, now they may pinch run at first base, looks like.
And Steve Finley, who, even though he's 41 years old, is one of the Giants' fastest runners. He's going to go in as a runner now. So that might mean that they have a change of heart in terms of a bunt too, right?
Well, I think Felipe looked like he was not happy with the fact that he took that pitch. You know, he wants him to get the bunt down and let's get this, you know, get the go-ahead run in the scoring position.
Top of the order coming up next. Win on deck.
So I'd say he's going to be bunting one more time.
Finley back to the bag. Finley started here yesterday and had a steal. Finley has stolen 6 times in 6 tries this year. Nomar Garciaparra on the bag with him. 0-1 the count to Vizcaino. Pulls back. That one is called a ball.
Now you can tell sometimes by the reaction of the manager whether you're going to keep the bunt on. And I could see there after the first pitch, Felipe was not happy that he took that first pitch for a strike. So I knew he was going to make him bunt one more pitch. And you can see anytime you see a hitter look down that long at the guy at third base, he's looking to see if they take the bunt off, because the bunt is usually on until they take it off.
They pitch out.
Right. See, so he squares around again. Now we'll take a look this time, see how long he looks down there. And you can kind of tell things like that. If he stays on the third base coach a long time, it means he's waiting until they take the bunt off. And if he doesn't, obviously you're still bunting.
Here's Felipe Alou, the Giants manager. You saw Joe Beimel, the left-hander, up in the LA bullpen. And he pulled the bat back, called strike 2. Twice he has opted not to bunt at it, and twice called a strike.
Well, that one was a little different, John. That was a curveball. He was looking for a fastball away to bunt, and he threw him a curveball on the inside part of the plate. Now watch this. This is the pitch. He's looking for the ball away, and you can see it's a curveball on the inside part of the plate, and he wasn't prepared to bunt the curveball, so he took it.
There's the bunt. Tonko barehanded to second base in the dirt, pulled out by Furcal for the out. So a very poor bunt by Vizcaino in the final analysis, right back to the pitcher.
Well, one thing you can say is, I mean, you know, Tomko comes up and fires quickly to second base. Nice play by Furcal to pull it out. But anytime you force a guy to bunt with 2 strikes, you're not going to get a good bunt. I mean, he's going to just try to put the ball in play, which he did. And so in some cases, when you do that, you're actually just giving him up.
Now Vizcaino is the runner at first, a much slower runner than Steve Finley. Well, the Giants have lost 15 of their last 18, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, not executing.
That ball hit well by Wynn, but caught near the warning track by Lofton. Lofton is now Wynn is now 1 for 4. The Giants, in the stretch where they've lost 15 of 18, have lost by 1 run 8 times and 2 runs twice. So 10 of those losses in the last little bit less than 3 weeks have been by 1 or 2 runs.
And what that tells you, John, is they're not able to close out games when they had the lead in the late innings, and they're not executing properly in close ball games.
Now Vizquel shows bunt, takes a strike. Vizquel with 2 down. If he's going to bunt, he's bunting for a hit. No score in the game. 9th inning. The Dodgers, with Vizquel at the plate, the Giants' power would come up next. So Omar, well, ordinarily you'd think he'd be looking for an extra base hit to try to knock in the run, but also wouldn't mind getting the red-hot Ray Durham up, who's been the Giants' best RBI man the last several weeks.
Well, I think that's what Omar sets up hitting normally. He's just trying to get a base hit, trying to move the runner into scoring position.
Little slow tap. Betemit lets it roll. It is a foul ball. About 80 feet up from home plate, it kicked off foul. And that was an interesting swing there, wasn't it?
I don't know if I've seen him, Omar, take a swing like that, especially for a guy that's swinging the bat so well right now. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he was doing. Watch this swing. There's not much on it. It's like he's just trying to hit it foul or slap it down the third base line.
Now they had that phrase, swinging bunt. Maybe this was actually one of them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's more of a swinging bunt, all right.
1-2 to Vizquel, who is 0 for 3 in the game. He'd had 25 hits in his last 11 games before tonight. And he backdoored him with a slider. 2-2.
This would not be a bad time to go ahead and send Vizcaino at first base, because as you mentioned, it'll take a long extra base hit to score him from first, but if he's on the move, you could maybe be able to score him on a long single.
He's not going. And ball 3, a fastball up and away.
And you look at the Dodger outfield, only the right fielder Lugo is playing deep. Everybody else is playing, you know, pretty normal positions. You can see out here he's playing much deeper than they are in center and left. So it's going to be hard for Vizquel to get it over their heads anyway.
3-2. Vizcaino is running now. And a pop-up. Jeff Kent. And the inning is over. Now the Dodgers. Ethier, the rookie, coming up. No score. Young Dodger fans watching a 0-0 game, last of the 9th inning. The Giants and the Dodgers. Let's take a look at the Lowe's home team advantage. The Dodgers have won more home games than any other team in the National League. They're hitting nearly 300 in these games, more than 5.5 runs per game. And the Dodgers tonight, though, shut down by Jason Schmidt, the ace of the Giants, who was superb against a hot-hitting team.
Well, he pitched great. He moved the ball around. He changed speeds very well, and he kept hitters off balance.
There is Mike Stanton on the pitch for the Giants, a left-hander. And the Giants with other changes. Todd Green comes in to catch in the 9th spot on the order. Steve Finley stays in center field after pinch running for Alfonso in the 8th spot. And the new pitcher Stanton is in the leadoff spot where Randy Winn had been. And here is Andre Ethier, one of the top candidates for Rookie of the Year honors in the National League so far. He's hit well against the lefties, but here a soaring pop fly, and Bonds one away.
Well, he was just happy to get Schmidt out of there. He struck out 3 times against Schmidt.
Now ESPN Game Track, Jason Schmidt, 8 innings, no runs, 5 hits. He had 9 strikeouts. But Greg Maddux was superb. 8 innings, 2 hits allowed, only 68 pitches for 8 innings. And he retired the last 22 hitters he faced. Here is Wilson Betemit. And he called that a ball? I kept thinking, maybe I didn't see that. Maybe I got blocked out by the way outside.
I told you about umpiring now.
It was close, but not quite there, apparently. Now,
good pitch, change up.
Durham throws out Betemit, who is 0 for 4. A lot of 0-fers on both sides tonight.
Yeah.
Right,
well, watch, he takes a changeup, throws him his little changeup right there, and you can see it tailing away. Betemit off the end of the back. Nice pitch there by Stanton. Stanton, the veteran pitcher, he knows these young guys are looking for some cheese, a good fastball that they can hammer.
Julio Lugo comes up now. You know, years ago, Earl Weaver, after he had retired as a manager, and his former team, the Orioles, were in a losing streak, and they asked him, the newspaper asked him for some advice, and he said, well, hey, you do this, you do that. But finally, at the end of the day, the best way to end a losing streak is to have Dave McNally go out and pitch a shutout. All right?
Yeah.
So Jason Schmidt, one of the Giants' ace, maybe their version of McNally.
Yeah, went out, pitched a shutout.
Pitched a shot. What do they got there? They're hoping for a tie going into the 10th. Saito, the Dodger closer, warming up in the pen. And that's a little bit low on the outside.
That is a pretty good formula, though, for breaking a losing streak.
Yeah.
Dave McNally pitched a shutout.
Or Jim Palmer, or Mike Cuellar. Sandy Koufax.
Yeah. Juan.
Oral Hershiser, Juan Marichal.
Yeah. Bob Gibson.
They ended a lot of losing streaks for their clubs. Omar Vizquel. And we're going to go overtime. Scoreless on to the 10th inning. The Giants have pitched a shutout for 9 and still not gotten out of their losing streak. From Dodger Stadium, the Giants and Dodgers, nothing decided yet. We're going into the 10th inning, no score on Sunday Night Baseball. And now the Dodgers closer, Takashi Saito, 36-year-old right-hander, who for many years was with the Yokohama Bay Stars in the Japanese Central League. That's the Japanese version of the National League. It's the older, first established league over there. And he's been kind of a lifesaver. The Dodgers lost Eric Gagne to injury again this year. And Saito ended up being the guy who was the most reliable in the closing spots. So now he's coming in trying to just hold the line here and give the Dodgers a chance to win in the last of the 10th. The Giants' big hitters are up right there. So Grady Little may figure, even though it's a tie game, the game needs saving right now. Ray Durham, Barry Bonds, Moises Alou coming up. And he starts Durham with a curveball for a strike. Another curveball. Strike 2 to Durham, who has singled, grounded to second, and struck out. Well, a 0-0 game in the 10th inning, Joe. Somehow I feel like Roger Clemens should have been pitching in this game. Another curve lifted to shallow center. Lofton in a hurry. Furcal going out, and Furcal makes the basket. Back to the infield catch.
Well, two things happened here. Saito threw in 3 straight curveballs, which you don't see very often anymore. But you can see a great play by Furcal. I mean, this is one of the reasons they got him, not just for his offense, but he's a good defensive shortstop, and he's very good on shallow pop-ups.
That looked like it just might be a single or more for Durham. Here's Bonds. And a curveball. Saito, who faced the Giants yesterday and got the save in the 9th inning. So a lot of sliders and some fastballs and a couple of curves. Thrown primarily curveballs right now. Saito's 6th game in the last 8 days for LA.
And John, Barry Bonds' next RBI will tie him with the great Willie Mays.
Mays 8th on the all-time list of RBI producers, 1,903, and Bonds has 1,902. They're going to walk Bonds intentionally now with the count already 2-0.
Well, I was telling you that earlier. They don't care, you know, if he's hitting 240, 230. I mean, if you're Grady Little, you're saying, I'm not going to let this guy hit a bomb on me and win this ball game for them.
Bonds gets the walk. Lou coming up. 1 out of the 10th. Let's go to Matt Weiner for a SportsCenter 30 at 30.
Mays is 7th.
Oh, all right.
No,
Running for balls, number 39, Todd Linden.
Well, Barry Bonds is back in the dugout. Todd Linden, a younger, much faster runner, goes in to run for Bonds at first base, and Moises Alou is the hitter against Saito. And that slider spins off the outside for ball 1. Alou 0 for 3 tonight.
we're talking about Barry trying to tie Willie Mays. The all-time leader is Hank Aaron, way ahead of everybody else. 2,297 runs batted in.
Back to first is Linden. By the way, Willie Mays is 7th on the all-time list for RBIs, and Bonds is 8th.
And Eddie Murray is 6th. He's the next conquest for Barry.
Murray, who's in the ballpark tonight, is the Dodgers hitting instructor. A Hall of Famer. And a slider too low again. 2-0 to Alou. It's been a while since Saito has thrown a strike here.
Well, his margin for error is, as we see, is not very much, and he's throwing a lot of breaking balls. He doesn't want to throw the fastball, and I'm not sure he'll throw a fastball here. He'll probably throw, if he doesn't throw the curveball again, he'll probably throw a changeup.
Shea Hillenbrand on deck. 2-0 to Alou.
Good fastball.
Late on that fastball.
Well, after a guy's thrown like 9 straight, 10 straight curveballs, it's kind of hard to gauge the first fastball that you see. He threw 3 in a row to Durham, then he threw 3 in a row to Barry before they decided to walk, and then he threw 2 to Moises Alou.
2-1. Now Linden runs well, the runner at first. 2-1 the count. Fastball away. 3-1.
Now, in my opinion, you know, this is one of those perfect times when you're struggling to just go ahead and send Linden. You know, let's see if we can make something happen. You know, we've waited 9 innings to try to get something done. We haven't done it. Let's see if we can make something happen.
Saito at the belt. There goes Linden. Alou pops a foul back out of play.
See, I like that because, I mean, you just can't sit and wait, hope something good happens. You mentioned that nothing has been happening good for the Giants the last 10 days. So let's see if we can force the action, open up a hole someplace, put a little pressure on the defense.
Well, it's been a while, almost 3 weeks for the Giants. And they won 5 in a row and actually moved into first place. And then the next day lost to the Padres. That started a 9-game losing streak, and they've lost 15 of 18 overall since then. 3-2. There he goes. Popped up.
Well, you got to give Saito credit. He came back with 2 breaking balls for strike to Moises Alou, and he gets the pop-up.
Jeff Kent with the put out, 2 down.
Well, you can see he's not going to give in. He does not want to throw a fastball in the fastball count. Now here's the 3-1 pitch with Linden running. And there's a curveball off the plate outside. That's 3-1. Now here's the 3-2 pitch. Same pitch, only a better pitch for Moises to hit, and he misses it.
You saw the disgust in Alou as he tossed the bat away, having popped out. Here's Shea Hillenbrand, 2 down. Fastball away. Hillenbrand is 0 for 3 in the game. On July the 23rd, the Giants went into play having won 5 in a row and had a half-game lead. The Dodgers were 4 games out in the middle of a losing streak, but the Giants only 3-15 since then. The Dodgers have gained 11 games in the standings. Kenny Lofton, and that's the inning. Now the Dodgers with Russ Martin, the pitcher's spot, and Rafael Forcaldua. Still nothing to nothing. Giants and Dodgers no score. As we go to the last half of the 10th inning, the Dodgers 5 hits, the Giants 3. Starting pitchers tonight, Greg Maddux for LA and Jason Schmidt for the Giants. Now Vinny Chulk, who was acquired in the deal along with Shea Hillenbrand from the Toronto Blue Jays. And those are Chulk's overall numbers, but for the Giants, he's been a revelation. He has pitched very well for San Francisco. A sinker ball who got a great slider. Vinny Chulk. The Giants sent a young reliever named Jeremy Accardo, who may be a future closer, to the Blue Jays in that trade. There's Todd Linden staying in to play left field after pinch running for Bonds. Jason Schmidt, all-star for the Giants. He's been their ace ever since they got him, it seems. 8 shutout innings tonight, but so far not good enough to get the Giants a win. Meanwhile, Greg Maddux, again for the 3rd straight time, superb. And 8 innings, no runs, 2 hits allowed. He retired 22 in a row after giving up 2 hits in the 1st inning. Here's Russ Martin, the Dodgers rookie catcher, against Vinny Chulk. And it's ball 1, the slider missing. Martin has hit a double to left center, grounded a 3rd and grounded a 2nd. J.D. Drew has come out on deck. You see Feliz hugging the line at 3rd. They've got the no doubles defense looking on that side. That ball hit high and deep to left field. Linden back to the wall. He watches it go. The Dodgers have won again.
Well, when you're in a winning streak, John, everything's going well for you. Things like this happen. Chalk comes in, throws a hanging breaking ball. And when Martin hit it, he knew it was out of the ballpark. Yep, he knew it right away. And the Dodgers win 1-0. Hanging breaking ball. Right in the middle of the plate.
So the Dodgers win their 15th in the last 16 games, and winning just never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
Russ Martin, the rookie catcher, what a moment, and he's standing by with Duke Castiglione.
All right, Russ, first of all, congratulations. What was your approach in that at-bat there?
I was just trying to find a pitch, you know, anywhere in the zone where I could drive it out of the park, and he threw me the same pitch twice in a row, and the second time I got it, wow, I'm still breathing hard right now.
How about Greg Maddux tonight? Here he is, comes over, makes another quality start for you guys. 8 innings, gives up just 2 hits, no runs. What do you think about his performance?
I mean, he really did a tremendous job. I wish we could have got him the win because, I mean, he pitched really well today. But, I mean, he's been outstanding, you know, in all of his starts so far. So it's great. He's a great guy to have around the clubhouse, and everybody's learning from him.
You guys have lost 13 out of 14. July 27th, you're 7.5 games out of first place. You've now won 15 out of 16. What is the biggest reason for the turnaround?
I just think it's the character on our team. You know, we go out and we play hard every day. Win or lose, we're giving out what we got out there, and we're leaving out all out on the field. And that's really our character of our team, and hopefully we can keep doing the things that we're doing right now.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
John, back to you.
Russ Martin, remember that name. He might win the Rookie of the Year when it's all said and done here in 2006 in the National League. And tonight, Russ Martin makes Takashi Saito the winning pitcher with a sayonara home run. The Dodgers won, the Giants nothing. What a night before a huge crowd in LA. The Dodgers on top of the world right now. SportsCenter is next. Now, for Joe Morgan and Duke Castiglione, this is John Miller. Good night from Los Angeles. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.